What's good, YouTube? It's Rico here, and so they just updated the ban lists for Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm clearly not prepared for this video, by the way. I was actually streaming Spider-Man when it came out, and I actually stopped to record this. This list is extremely weird. I actually don't know what to think about it. Like, actually, I have no idea. Like, this is probably the most off-the-wall, like, weirdest-ass list I've seen in a while. And, like, I don't think it's bad. I think it did things that needed to be done. Or at least, like, things that are effective. But I don't... It's not the way I would have done it. Let me turn this song music down. Enjoy, like, the only good song in Crash Not the Cart. Anyway, so... let's just get into it. I don't know what to think about this. But yeah, it takes effect on Monday, which means this will be in effect for YCS 200, which is great because I'm going to that, and thank God I don't have to deal with fucking Goki bullshit anymore. Anyway, let's get into it. So, for bans, the first one, Samsora Lotus. I don't know. I cannot think of a single thing that makes Samsora Lotus broken. Like, I cannot think of a single FTK. I have not heard of any FTK involving Samsora Lotus, but clearly it needed to be banned, I guess. Maybe there's something coming out in the future that breaks Samsora Lotus, but I have no idea what the fuck that would be. But, like, the card was garbage regardless, so this doesn't really affect anything. It's just really weird. It's like the first ban is Samsora Lotus. Like, I don't understand. But yeah, so that's pretty irrelevant. Next ban, Nightmare Goblin. So this was one that was talked about. It was like, how do you stop the Nightmare spam? And Goblin was one that came up a lot. I didn't necessarily think this was the correct hit. I think it's an effective hit, and I think Goblin is a pretty stupidly good card. So in that sense, I think this was very effective. I think it was, like, you could kind of justify it. I don't know if this is the way I would do it. I honestly feel like a lot of the Nightmare spam is a result of actually just, like, turning any Nightmare into Mermaid and then summoning Ibli, but that's just me. Goblin is also an effective hit. This also severely shuts down Goki, as far as I can tell. They can probably still maybe work some shit around, but losing Goblin definitely hurts. The other big thing about Goblin is that, like, it was the centerpiece of the U. So that's a pretty big loss. But yeah. And then MX Saber Invoker. I used to defend this card as being, like, fine, and there were other problems. Like, first it was Terror Top, and there was, like, other things that made Invoker really easy. As time has gone on, Invoker is just so fucking good. Like, just the fact that now it's a free Isolde, and, like, it gets you 1,000 blades if you do, like, the Light Sworn Clown Blade shit and whatever. And then, like, of course, everything in Goki. I do think that it was about time that Invoker had to go. The card just keeps getting more and more powerful with more warrior support coming out. So yeah, like, I'll take losing Invoker over losing Isolde, because I love the design of Isolde. I think Isolde is a very well designed card. So yeah, I think those are only 3 bans. Yeah. So so for limits, notice a distinct missing card right here. After 5 years, they have finally unbanned Elemental Hero Stratos. So, like, everybody rejoice. They finally freed our N-word Stratos. I'm not gonna actually say the word. Yeah. So. That was very good. That was a long time coming. Stratos hasn't been broken in years. Like, it got banned 5 years ago. Like, actually almost exactly 5 years ago. And, like, really has not been a problem since then. So, yeah, that was good. And they also limited Assault Core. I don't think ABC was really doing anything, but this is a way to... I think it was, like, they're realizing how stupid Firewall Dragon is, and they just gave us Summon Sorcerer. So I think they're trying to knock down all the really stupid shit you can do. An Assault Core and multiple copies definitely loops a bunch of shit. So this is probably just to stop that from being a problem. Morphing Jar back to 1. I would say this is probably to push Danger. Because, spoiler, they also unbanned Card Destruction, which is, like, blatantly pushing Danger. I don't actually think either of these cards are fair for the game or healthy, but they're also really not that big of a deal. If they break Danger, they break Danger. Danger kind of needs it right now, honestly. The deck's pretty bad. Of course, they could get more support that makes them really good, but yeah. So yeah, and then they limited Electromite. This is a little late. Yeah, Pendulum's been doing stuff, but it hasn't been like a... It's not really top tier, I guess. I think if anything, they limited Electromite so you didn't like do this like the triple Electromite plays that you could do with like Firewall and shit. This is like they didn't ban Firewall. They were blatantly like trying to avoid hitting Firewall Dragon because I guess that we're under the same rules as the OCG where they can't ban Firewall because it's an ace card, I guess. I don't fucking know. Cyframe mode Omega, this one was also really late. This should have happened a while ago. Omega's not broken, he's just really degenerate in multiple copies, so this was like a long time coming. Exciton unbanned, this is also fucking late. This just feels like a bunch of shit that's really fucking late. Like, I was just talking to a friend like a week or so ago, I was like, you know, you ever just think about how they reprinted Exciton Knight and then they didn't unban him? So like, they reprinted him last year in Light's Revenge, and then they didn't unban him. Well, they finally unbanned him. This card, Exciton Knight's really good, but like board wipes in general aren't like super broken anymore. Like when he was banned, I think it was justified, but I think like the game's evolved to the point where a board wipe that takes your extra monster zone and doesn't let you do any damage that turn is not really a problem. I do really like that he's back though. He's a really cool card, so I definitely like in any deck where I can make rank 4s, I'm going to try and play him. A Hero Lives is limited. This is probably just because they brought Stratos back. I already said card destruction. They limited Hoarder drones. I 100% expected this to happen. This isn't even because it's broken in Sky Striker, because Impure Sky Striker is actually not that like good at all. It's just the fact that it's such a splashable generic engine, so this will stop people from like splashing Sky Strikers and everything. So yeah. They unbanned Super Poly. I'm not really sure of the reason for this. I think there was like that one generic fusion monster that just came out, so you can like use Super Poly for that. I mean, that's not going to do anything with Shadal still dead because they didn't unban Construct. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think I like the idea of Super Poly being legal, but it's not going to really affect anything. Yeah. And then semi-limits were pretty irrelevant. Dark Destroyer, Cosmo's bad. Called by the Grave, that doesn't really do anything. Like, the card, you either play it or you don't. And, like, having 2 copies instead of 3 copies isn't really going to make too much of a difference. Limiter removal. I'm trying to think if there's a machine deck that, I guess, Cyber Dragon. Like, that's not really going to do much. Scapegoat, this actually pisses me off. I think Scapegoat should have gone to 1 or gotten banned. I actually think Scapegoat's an incredibly broken card. But I also didn't think they were going to ban it because they just made it an ultimate rare. I was hoping they'd do something besides semi-limit. I was hoping at least, like, limit it, but I guess we'll just do it with a semi-limit. Terraforming is a semi-limit. This one, like, I actually thought they weren't going to hit it because I felt like if they were going to hit Terraforming, they were going to do it, like, way sooner. But no, it just took this long and they finally semi-limited it. It's mostly a slap on the wrist. I think the only deck that's really going to care about losing a single Terraforming is probably Spiral, and that's because their one resort's already limited. So yeah. And then unlimits are all irrelevant. A block 4 towers. Clifford is terrible now. Disc Commander, it's been confirmed that its errata's coming out. It was updated on the database, which means now it is the errata Disc Commander, which means it's completely fucking garbage. Barrel from a Different Dimension, this was like a long time coming, and same with Ring of Destruction. So like, I feel like this list was effective, but it was not the way I thought they were gonna do it. Like, I thought Goki they were gonna hit like a Solda or like Phoenix Blade or like Firewall or something, but like I guess Goblin's not like the Goki hits aren't completely off the wall. Like Goblin and Invoker makes a bit of sense. It's just not the way I would have expected to be their number 1 way to hit it. Samsora Lotus is completely off the wall. That's gonna be something obscure that's gonna come up eventually where like they're gonna do something crazy and we're gonna be like, oh, that's why they banned Samsora Lotus. Like with Chain Strike last format, where we're like, why the fuck did they limit Chain Strike? And then they changed the timing rules. It's like, oh, that's why. And then there was also like way back in 2014 where they limited Infernity Bearers. Like, why the fuck you limit Infernity Bearer? They're not doing anything and they may still charge. So I feel like it's gonna be one of those hits, one of those like changes. Like something's gonna pop up and we're gonna be like, that's why they hit Samsora Lotus. Yeah. But yeah, that's a shit ton of ban Xyz monsters. Holy fuck. Yeah, like, so like, it does affect the meta. Like Goki, I feel like gets hurt a lot with this. Like it can't without Goblin, without Invoker. It's a lot harder for them to just make the U. Trickstar Skystriker, even though they still didn't hit Reincarnation, like that boggles my mind. Is that somehow Trickstar has still avoided to get hit, but like I still feel like Trickstar is not going to be a problem anymore because like even though they didn't lose Reincarnation, they did lose Hornet Drones, which is a big deal. They lost one Terraforming, which is like okay, and then they lost one Scapegoat. The big thing is that they lost Hornet Drones, which means they effectively lost the ability to reliably play the Skystriker engine, which is a big deal. That the Skystriker engine was the reason Trickstar was so good, and even after that, towards the end of the format, Trickstar was falling off because pure Skystriker got so much better with Hayate and Boral Sword. So yeah, pure Skystriker I think is gonna be the best deck of this format. It was already really good. The only thing it lost was one Terraforming, which didn't matter. A lot of people were only playing 2 anyway. They lost Hornet Drones, which like it is a minor blow to the deck's consistency, but the deck's game plan still completely functions, excuse me. But yeah, Altergeist is probably going to be really good because it was completely untouched. I'm not really sure what else is in the meta. Magician is probably like Pendulum was barely even a thing, but losing Electromite is going to hurt a lot. They can't do the stupid like triple Electromite spam anymore. Burning Abyss is still a thing, but Burning Abyss really struggles with Skystriker and Altergeist, so True Draco is still a thing. What else was there? There was another deck I was just thinking of. I mean, Danger might do something with card destruction and Morphing Jar. If you were ever attempting to still play 60-card Lightsworn or something, losing Invoker pretty much just murdered that. So that deck's just dead. Hero might do something with Stratos. I'm not entirely sure that would actually happen, but you know, it's a thing that could be a thing. Spiral. So Spiral in this, the biggest thing is like losing Goblin actually really sucks, because you do use that extra normal summon for like quick fix or shit. So like, I feel like you can still do some stuff. It's just not as good. And you still have the weakness of if you lose Resort, you're kind of just fucked. It still does have the advantage of it's really good going second. It has a lot of generically good cards. But I don't like losing the Goblin does really hurt that deck. At least the way it was built before. And then it also lost the Sky Striker engine because it lost Hornet Drones, so Spy Striker isn't the thing anymore. I don't know, like I think just the killing or like the knocking down of Goki. I don't know. I don't want to necessarily say anything's dead, but like the knocking down of Goki and the knocking down of Trickstar, and then the knocking down of like the generic Sky Striker engine. I feel like this meta will be more diverse. Like Sky Striker is going to be at the top, and then I feel like Altergeist is probably going to be second. And then after that, you got like a bunch of other. You got True Draco, you got like Pendulum can still do stuff even with Electromite. It's just not super degenerate. You got Invoked, like Mech Knight Invoked is still a thing. Invoked in general is still a thing. And then you got Spiral is still a thing. Like there's a lot of options in this format. Nothing really got killed. It's just like Goki and Trickstar Skystriker got super toned down, which is completely what needed to happen. So it's a very weird list. Like when I looked at this, I was like completely not expecting any of this. But I think it does a pretty good job. I'm looking more forward to this format than the one we were currently in. Like this last format was probably one of the worst ones we've ever been in, honestly. So yeah, I'm good with it. I'm looking forward to the YCS now. I'm probably gonna play Sky Striker, because if it's between Sky Striker or Altergeist, I'm gonna play Sky Striker. So yeah, and that's all with this. Looking forward to this, and yeah, thanks everybody to watch, and see you next time.